Texas Motor Speedway, great crowd on hand for NASCAR Busch Series action. Stop number 33 of 35 on the $50 million tour for 2007. Could we crown a champion? We just might today. Along with champions Rusty Wallace, Andy Petrie, I'm Jerry Punch. Glad to have you with us here on what is a gorgeous afternoon in Fort Worth, Texas. And Rusty, you're from Missouri, just like Carl Edwards is. You're set right where he's sitting today. You've been there before, where you know this is the day that I could realize my dream of become a champion. What's he thinking about right now?
Jerry, this could be the very biggest day in Carl Edwards' life. It really could be. To win his first NASCAR championship. I talked to him earlier. He's so excited about it. He wants to get it done today. He doesn't want to wait to Phoenix or the last race in Homestead. He's a box of nervous right now. Yeah, he wants to win the race, but he wants to finish. He's really nervous right now, guys.
One driver trying to win a championship. Now, there are 42 other drivers who have their own agendas to worry about. What are some of those that should bear watching today?
Well, Doc, we got a couple of rookies with Marcus Ambrose and David Reagan who haven't won a race yet, so those guys want to try to notch a win. And David Reagan sat on the pole, finished 5th here in the spring, so he's going to be tough here. And you also have these open wheel boys trying to make their mark. You got Dario Franchitti and Sam Hornish that are trying to make their mark in this sport in these stock cars. So we've got a lot of stories we can watch.
A lot of stories to watch. Could we crown a champion, the Great American Busch champion at the Great American Speedway today? We'll find out in just a moment.
Race fans, please welcome your Grand Marshal and lucky listener from 96.3 KSCS, the official country station of Texas Motor Speedway, Chris Tennant, as he delivers the most famous words in motorsports.
Texas, are you ready? Gentlemen, start your engines!
Crank it up. I appreciate it, guys. Just haven't quite been getting the results that we deserve. Keep our heads up, keep in the game. Got some good spots today. We'll drive her out on the racetrack, low groove, middle groove, high groove, wherever we need to go. Take care. We'll be right at the end and get the finish we deserve here.
43 of NASCAR's Busch Series finest, deep in the heart of Texas. Glad to have you with us here for the NASCAR Busch Series 33rd stop. Could we crown a champion today? We're going to find out here very shortly. Take a look at our starting grid. Last week's winner, first win in his Busch Series career, David Rudeman. He's on the pole, lead him down beside two-time Cup champion Tony Stewart. Now, while you watch to see where your favorite driver is starting, let's visit with our in-race reporter, the man who could become a champion today, driver of the Dish Network Ford, Carl Edwards, who starts back in 3rd spot.
Hey, Carl, Rusty Wallace, ESPN, you got us?
Got you, Rusty.
Well, Carl, you're going for your first NASCAR championship today, and man, I know this is a big day for you, but you know, you struggled a little bit in practice with that car. You think you got a good enough car to get this thing done today?
Yeah, I sure hope so, man. But you know, the big thing is I just can't thank you know, Dish Network, Scott's, you know, Discount Tire, World Financial Group, and Ford, everybody for being, you know, putting so much effort in. We've had some bad luck, and like you said, we weren't great in practice, but heck, they qualified well. The guys did a good job, so hopefully we'll get this thing to victory lane. Carl, what's your approach today, bud? Are you going to go for the win, or are you going to go for the points and try to seal this championship today? Right off the bat, I mean, you know how it is when you don't kind of know what your setup's like. I'm just going to go out and drive as hard as I can and kind of see where we stand. And if it looks like we've got a car that can win, then we're definitely going for a win. If it looks like we're going to be struggling, then I'll just hang on and see if we can get us that championship. All right, man, we're going to get out of here right now, let you focus. We'll talk to you later, buddy. Thanks, Rusty. Hope you guys have a good one.
Carl Edwards in the car, and the man who will call the shots, and as he has all year long for this championship effort, crew chief Pierre Cattell. Let's hear from him.
Hey, PK, Andy Petrie, you got a copy?
Yeah, Andy, I sure do.
Hey, PK, we heard Carl saying you weren't very good in practice, and we kind of saw that on the practice sheets. But, man, you guys qualified 3rd. How did you do that?
Well, we showed up here in Texas with our Charlotte setup. Thought we'd give that a whirl. We ran pretty good there. Made it through that first practice, not very good. Started the second practice, didn't make it much better, so we reverted back to our first Texas setup from this year. Had a good run with it, and I think we're going to be all right.
Do you anticipate having to make any changes to the car during the race?
Well, I think it's like any racetrack. It's going to change as you go. We have enough adjustability in the thing with rubbers and tire pressures and everything like that, so we should be good.
10-4 PK. Good luck in this race. I know you don't want to share the spotlight after the race, so good luck. Hope you guys can win it.
10-4. Thank you, Andy.
Big crowd on hand under gorgeous skies here at Texas Motor Speedway, the Great American Speedway, getting set for 300 miles of NASCAR Busch Series action. Well, let's update some of the stories we'll be following throughout the afternoon. First here in the pits is Shannon Spade.
Well, Doc, all year long, David Rudiman has said if he did not get a win this season, he would consider it a disappointment. Well, it's officially a success. After surviving a caution-filled race last week in Memphis, David Rudiman went to victory lane for the first time. In doing so, he chiseled away 107 points on points leader Carl Edwards. Now, Rudiman is realistic. He realizes that it's impossible to catch Carl at this point, but he can continue to close that gap between those points. And oh yeah, he'd love to go to victory lane again. Today could be the day. Fastest in both practices, and he's starting from the pole. Mike Massaro?
Well, Shannon, among the 17 Nextel Cup regulars in today's field, 8 of them are chase drivers, and for them, today's race takes on additional importance. Aside from seat time, they gain valuable information that they could transfer to Sunday. For Carl Edwards, Clint Boyer, and Tony Stewart, those guys 3rd through 5th in the standings, they all need to be perfect on Sunday in order to pull off that miracle comeback. Information like air pressure and how well this car and this track changes throughout the day and how well they understand that could be big in their move toward the front in these final 3 races. Every little detail, even the smallest, as we all know, is bigger here in Texas. Let's go to Jamie.
Well, Mike, there's 2 open wheel standouts to keep your eye on today. First up, Sam Hornish Jr. It's been 8 races since he's been in a Busch car. Why? He went over to the Cup side and he attempted to qualify, but failed in 6 attempts. With that said, Roger Penske decided this week to put him back in a Busch car for some more seat time. Now, starting right behind him, Dario Franchitti, you see there next to Sam Hornish Jr., making just his 2nd start in the Busch Series. Now, here at Texas, these 2 drivers have competed against one another time and time again. But today, guys, is the first time they will compete against one another in the NASCAR Busch Series. And Sam Hornish Jr. victorious this summer in the IndyCar Series. Let's go over to Dave Burns.
Well, Jamie, in any sport, you would want your champion or champions to have a passion for what they do. And Carl Edwards certainly does have that. We see that in every backflip he does after a race victory. So I asked his mother, Nancy Sterling, this morning, where did that passion come from? When did you first see it really hit Carl? And she relayed a story of his first mini sprint race way back when he was 15 years old. She said that night he snuck in with his dad because he might not have been the proper age to race there yet, and he got into the race and he won the race. That was a night, Mom says, that she knew her son had a passion for this sport, and certainly Carl Edwards will share that passion with all the race fans around the country and the world should he become our champion.
Dave, he will share that dream as he shared when he was a little boy with his mom when he went to college at Missouri, and he walked around handing out business cards, sleeping in his car at short tracks all over Missouri and the Midwest, just trying to get a ride. And of course, it could all come to a close today as he realizes a dream and becomes a NASCAR champion. High definition onboard cameras will give you great up close and personal looks throughout the afternoon. David Reagan starts 8th in the Discount Tires Ford. Mike Wallace, 33rd in the Geico Chevrolet. Kevin Harvick, a 3-time winner here, 4th in the AutoZone Chevy. Richard John starts 41st at FreeCreditReport.com Ford. Jeff Burton starts 15th in the Holiday Inn Chevy. You already heard from Carl Edwards, our in-race reporter, 3rd in the Dish Network Ford. Bobby Labonte, former Cup and Busch champion, 14th at Dollar General Chevrolet. And our pole sitter, David Rudiman, our most recent winner in the NASCAR Busch Series in the Aaron's Dream Machine Toyota. 300 miles, folks, 200 laps on a high bank, 1.5-mile oval in Fort Worth, Texas. 14th time the NASCAR Busch Series cars have run here. There have been 8 different winners. Kevin Harvick, a 3-time winner. Matt Kenseth, a 2-time winner. There's the pit window. 70 laps, maybe. How much do you gamble, guys, on fuel and tires here?
It's going to be interesting to see when we get down to the end of it. Right now, these guys are just looking at this first run and trying to see what the racetrack's going to do. They haven't been on it since yesterday, and it's a little warmer today than it was yesterday.
So it's really hard to go out there and really figure your car out under the circumstance they had yesterday. Just like you said, Andy, temperature's a little bit different. Now they're a lot warmer, but they get to go out with all 43 cars right now. This really separates the men from the boys, whether they got their car right or wrong.
One of the important parts of being a crew member for a driver is keeping him pumped, keeping him inspired and what's going to happen and what could happen. Let's listen in on the conversation between the crew and Carl Edwards.
All right, guys, done a great job so far this weekend. It's a great recovery for qualifying, and we don't really know what we have here, so we'll just, you guys can help me stay calm a little bit if it's not right, and we'll just work on it. We'll be fine. I appreciate all the hard work, though, guys. I really do.
Yeah, 10-4, everybody. Great job getting this thing turned around. We got a pretty good car here. Jason, keep it calm.
Man, keeping him calm is so important because this driver's got so much emotion going through him right now. He wants to win his first NASCAR championship, and he's going to get wound up. And when he does, he's relying on his crew to help him. His mother right there, that's going to be one nervous mama right here today, Jerry. She's thinking about her boy, and she wants that championship.
Carl Edwards says, I thought about it for a long time growing up in Missouri. You grew up in Missouri. You understand how much you want to follow in the footsteps. He wanted to follow in the footsteps of some of his heroes, like one Rusty Wallace, who came out of St. Louis and became a NASCAR champion. Could it happen today for Carl Edwards? Could this be his day in the sun finally? After some frustrating runs the last few weeks here, he was so dominant early in the year.
He's got to finish 36 or better to lock this thing up.
Crowd on their feet under beautiful clear skies here at the Great American Speedway. Could we crown another great American NASCAR champion today? Coming down to the green flag, Ruderman will lead him down, and Tony Stewart right beside him as the green flag waves at Texas. David Ruderman says, I know you're a Cup champion and you've been out here a long time, but I won last week and now I'm a winner in the Busch Series. I'm going to hang on. The 99 trying to stay strong, the 18 up high, and the 21 car, Harvick, a factor early.
Yeah, Tony Stewart says, hey, I want to lead this first lap. And boom, it looks like he does by just a little bit. The top side of the racetrack is where these guys are already starting to go. You see Stewart up high, you see Harvick up there.
Well, I'm impressed how good that outside lane is right here on this first lap. And Stewart's giving Ruderman all he wants right here.
Ruderman battling back on the bottom of the racetrack. The 5 car, by the way, that is Kyle Busch. So that's the Kyle says, I got to love watching this here early on. These guys will get single file now. Kyle says, I can try to pick them off.
Well, David Ruderman probably wishes he had this type of steam earlier in the year. They got this car handling so good now, guys. Andy, I don't know what they've done, but they have figured something out to get him up there where he is right now.
And it's just built so much confidence in David Ruderman. I was just down there talking to some of the guys, and they were saying just how confident he was in his abilities and his race car.
More on Ruderman as we check in with Shannon Spade.
Well, Andy, you're exactly right. Confidence is definitely a key, but I spoke with Jerry Baxter, and he said the 7-post shakers really helped this team out a lot. They've used it sporadically throughout the year, but have really been able to focus on it in the last few weeks. That's because it was dedicated mostly to the Cup side. Now, they rent that 7-post shaker from Penske Racing. They've used it up to 5 days leading into last week's race and this week as well, and Jerry Baxter says it's definitely paying off for this team.
Well, I think the rental rate for the 7-poster from Roger Penske is probably going to go up now after a statement like that. But this machine can be rented from teams.
Oh! Trouble the 22 car. It had the great runner-up finish at Memphis. Mike Bliss spins a 27, also spins. That's Brad Baker. And the first caution flag today is being shown here on lap number 4.
Well, it looked like that car just snapped around sideways and backwards on Mike Bliss.
Oh, I didn't expect it to happen that quick, especially out of a fella like
looks like the left rear
Mike
is probably
Bliss.
down.
Brad Baker, the son of Gary Baker, who just bought Bruco Racing there. Gary told me he's going to try to get his son racing, get him some more experience, and unfortunately, he's got himself in a crash today.
Mike Bliss, former NASCAR Craftsman Truck Champion, 36 car involved, Jeremy Clements, and here's a young man that was really starting to show some promise and only a couple opportunities here in that car. Let's see if we can see what happened. Riding along with Jeff Burton.
Looks like he might have got a little contact from Jeff Burton on the back bumper.
All clear, all clear. Caution's out.
Yeah, he definitely got some contact from Jeff Burton, and that's totally unlike Jeff Burton to do anything like that. And I'll guarantee you, Jeff didn't mean that. Just the closure rate was there, and because Jeff Burton is one clean race car driver. Just got in a tight position there.
Looks like he may have just miscalculated just a smidgen as they went in that corner, but you know Jeff Burton didn't do that on purpose.
Folks, last time we had a Busch race, we had 25 caution flags for 117 laps, and let's hope we don't get anywhere close to that today, but we have one early on at lap number 4. Our coverage of the NASCAR Busch Series at Texas is being brought to you by Allstate, official insurance sponsor of NASCAR.
This telecast of the NASCAR Busch Series is available in high definition on ESPN2 HD, presented by Vizio. Under the first caution early on in this afternoon's 300-miler for the NASCAR Busch Series, Texas Motor Speedway, down in the ESPN pit studio, Alan Bestwick with Brad Daugherty and Dale Jarrett. Jeff Burton involved in this accident up in turns 3 and 4.
It's early in the race and it's going down into turn 3. You can see Bliss takes a wider angle in there, but Jeff Burton car rolls up just a little bit, probably just a little touch, but it doesn't take much here at the speeds that you're going, and these cars have to be loose to run fast. And you know, guys, we can look racing accident. There's 2 guys that you can question anybody, but there's 2 people that I can assure you that you're racing with, Jeff Burton being one of those and Mark Martin being the other, that I would never question if they hit my race car. You know it was an accident, because they just don't do things on purpose. And Jeff Burton is one of the best drivers in this series, and he just doesn't let those things happen very often. But if the car closes and slows down in front of you, there's a lot of times there's just nothing you can do. You think you're getting close, but that was obviously a little too close.
Let's get his explanation on the radio.
I was there. He just came down on me. I mean, I was right there, and he came down on me. I can't put on the brakes any harder than that. He chopped me off 5 times in a row. I can't put on the brakes any harder than that without getting run over by the 90. I mean, I hate that happen. Now, you know me, I don't ever wreck anybody, but if somebody's going to stop in front of you, you got somebody cramming up behind you, the hell is nothing you can do about it.
So that's Jeff Burton's side of things. The other driver involved, Mike Bliss, in starting this incident, is with Mike Massaro now.
He's just walked out of the care center, Alan. Mike, what happened?
Man, I don't know. I mean, we were just waiting. I was just waiting for the tires to come up. You know, it was a little bit loose, so I wasn't really running real hard. And I don't know. Jeff was behind me. I don't know if he just got enough whether it took the air off of it or got into us. But I don't know. I hate it for a Supercuts Dodge. We didn't need to happen this early.
There you go. Mike Bliss, a little disappointed, Doc.
Yeah, coming off that best finish of the year last week at Memphis, he finished second. Mike Bliss had some really good runs in the Dodge this year, a number of top 5s and top 10s, and way early for that to happen. And obviously, you and I, we've all known Jeff Burton. He's the last guy I would ever expect to intentionally bump somebody.
And it sounded like to me that Mike Bliss thought the same thing. He gave him the benefit of the doubt that, hey, maybe I don't even know if he hit me, because he doesn't think Jeff Burton drives like that either.
Well, Mike Bliss did a good job in that interview, because he could have roughed up Jeff Burton verbally, and he didn't do that. So you're right, Andy. A little uncertain of what's going on, but you know, it's early in the race. It's just racing, and we do know about Jeff Burton, one fantastic driver. And by the way, that team right there is leading the Owners' Championship in the points right now.
And here's a guy leading the point standings among the drivers, Carl Edwards. He got through cleanly. He's currently sitting in 5th spot, and we heard him tell you when you asked him as our in-race reporter before the race, he was going to take his time early and feel the car out, because he really didn't know what the car would have. Remember, Carl Edwards has been in a Cup car also throughout the weekend here, qualifying and practicing his NASCAR Nextel Cup car, where he sits 4th there in the chase for the Nextel Cup. First caution flag today, lap 4. You saw the incident. Bliss spins. Brad Baker caught up in it, as was the 36 car of Jeremy Clements. Pace car getting set to pull away, and as it does, we listen into the spotters as we go full throttle.
You ready, please? Ready? Ready. Be ready. Ready. Be ready. There he goes. Green flag. Still there. Inside. Clear. There you go. You got it. Coming back. Trying to come back. Corner. Okay, you got it. Outside. They're outside. Outside. We're high. They're all around. Looking low. Looking low. Inside.
Couple of guys toward the back of the pack that had to go to the rear. Mike Wallace, Kyle Krisiloff went to the rear for an engine trouble. Unapproved lug nuts on the 88 of Keselowski. And this car, the 24 of Casey Mears. Folks, he started dead last, and he is soaring by people. Right now, Mears being shown in 20th position, guys. He's passed 22 cars.
Man, he's flat wanting to get the job done right now. He's doing a wonderful job. It's pretty early in the race to get too aggressive, though. So if he remembers what happened last week in Memphis with all those wrecks, don't want that to happen today.
Dave Burns?
And Doc, I checked in with crew chief Chad Walter. I asked him, did you understand why NASCAR penalized you? And he said, yeah, for an unapproved change on the lug nuts. And he said, the rest, I need to go talk to them in the trailer after the race to find out exactly. So there may be something going down there, something that wasn't quite right. But Chad said there's more to be discussed between him and NASCAR before the day's over.
Mears on the move now, trying to get back toward the top 15. That is a 24 car of Mears. The 9 car behind him is Elliott Sadler. 12 of 200 laps in the books here on a gorgeous afternoon at Texas Motor Speedway. Could we crown a champion today? Could Carl Edwards come home with his first ever NASCAR Busch Series title here on this afternoon in Texas? For those of you watching on ESPN Classic, we invite you to switch over now to ESPN2 to watch the remainder of the NASCAR Busch Series race. Glad to have you folks with us here at Texas Motor Speedway. NASCAR Busch action, just 3 events remaining in the $50 million 35 race season. Early on, it is Tony Stewart, the 2-time Cup champion, who is the leader. Tony has led all 13 laps thus far. Jamie?
Well, Doc, I'll tell you what, when you talk to Tony Stewart, whether you're in the Cup garage or you're in the Busch garage, sometimes it's like a case of split personality. Today, he got in right before he got in his Busch car. He was in the best mood, walked out, had a cookie in his hand. He was laughing, and I said, so why are you in such a good mood? And he said, over here on the Busch side, there's just no pressure. He said, I get to get in that car and go for the win. And oh, by the way, this is my last Busch Series race this year. So Tony Stewart in a great mood, and guys, he's going to stay in that good mood as long as he's right where he is in P1.
Having a good afternoon. Tony yet to win in Busch competition, finished second at Talladega on a last lap pass. Now, one of the cars that bears watching today is the 17 car of Matt Kenseth. Right, DJ?
Yeah, exactly. You know, he told us that his car wasn't very fast before the race. He's already up to 14th, so that's 11 spots that he's already picked up. And we know that Matt is very calculating. He's not going to abuse his car, but he's going to find his way, I think, up in and be a part of this before it's over. But I know all of these guys in this series, back to Tony for a second, had to be thinking, wow, Tony Stewart qualified second. We're going to have to contend with that guy all day, because normally he's having to work his way from about 20th after qualifying up through there. But Matt will be a factor in this before it's over too, but he's going to have to deal with that car that's in the lead right now, Tony Stewart.
Thank you, DJ. With more on Matt, let's check in with Mike.
And Doc, one of the reasons why Matt Kenseth and his team wasn't real happy with this car coming in is because throughout practice yesterday, the car was bottoming out. Now remember, this is the car they won with back in the spring, so they were a little apprehensive about changing anything on the race car. Drew Blickensderfer, the crew chief, said that he was torn and only changed it a little bit. He did not want to change the attitude of the car. The reason being, he felt like the pace of the race would be a little bit slower than it was in practice. He felt as the cars went faster, he wouldn't have to worry about the car bottoming out, and so far that's been the case. That car has certainly been very good so far.
Well, I tell you, that lime green paint scheme, I don't know about that. You know, in racing, green's been bad luck, but he needs to get over that, that's for sure. Because if I was driving that car, though, I go, man, green, I don't know about that. I want my car to be red or black or something faster looking.
Man, I had a lot of good luck with green cars. With Harry Gant in school days, man, we had a big time with green cars.
Yeah, but man, your car was more the color of money. That was a different green.
I can't remember a Busch race here in Texas that Matt Kenseth has not been a factor in, so I know he's going to be tough.
Didn't your championship car have a bunch of green on it?
Okay, yeah, you caught me on that one. Yeah, okay. That was another shade, though.
Right. By the way, Richard Johns had a cut tires, but on and off pit road back in the back of the pack. Tony Stewart is the guy they're chasing. Back Back at Texas Motor Speedway, damage on the right front of the 12 car of Sam Hornish, and that wasn't as a result of his spin. I mean, he didn't hit anything. He just cut a right front tire because of a spin a moment ago. Here's what happened. To watch the 33 behind the 12 as they go into 4, and the 12 just gets loose.
Yeah, aerodynamically just made him a little bit aero loose, and Sam spun the car, but did a great job keeping it under control. Now look, he lets off the brake right now, lets it roll forward, and doesn't spin the car out. But Andy, the only thing he's got wrong with that car is a little damage on a right rear quarter panel.
That came from the cone at the end of pit road. Otherwise, he's clean. But then what he doesn't realize is he's flat spotted those tires, and one of them's going to blow out here and knock the whole fender off the car.
Yeah, 190 miles an hour sideways. He's got the car spinning sideways at 190. There goes the cones flying. You heard Rusty commenting on.
So guys, now he thinks he's fine. Take a look at that. Just blew the right front fender clear off this car. And when you're running that quick under practice, I mean under the caution flag, probably about 50 miles an hour, it just tore the rest of everything to smithereens. Dave?
Following what the leader does, Kyle Busch comes in. They are going to take on only 2 right side tires. Air pressure and track bar adjustment. Car needs to turn a lot better, says Kyle. Jamie?
And Tony Stewart said so far so good. They're going to pull out that right front fender and take 4 tires and fuel. From what we're told, he had 1 spot to move up, and he did into first. Shannon?
David Rudiman, your pole sitter, fresh off his win last week in Memphis, says he just needs the car to be able to turn a little bit better. They're going to do a track bar adjustment and 4 tires on this car. Rudiman finished this race 6th last season, looking for a better finish here this weekend. Down and away, guys.
Thank you, guys. Great update. And because of that 2-tire only stop, Kyle Busch is the first one off of pit road. How about Matt Kins? They told you he bears watching, up 11 spots. Tony Stewart, they made an adjustment to that right front fender to keep it from rubbing. He lost 3 spots in the pits. Getting back with the restart and the green flag in just a moment. Back at Texas Motor Speedway, aerial coverage brought to you by our good friends at Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR, helping NASCAR drivers get to the finish line for over 50 years. Under caution for the 2nd time today, Sam Hornish's car number 12 spins and then cuts a right front tire after he flat spotted it. Heavy damage on that right side fender. A lot of speculation that maybe if Hornish runs full-time in Cup next year, he may get the owner's points from the 2 car of Kurt Busch, which would allow Roger Penske to get this car a guaranteed starting spot at least the first 5 events of the year. And then, of course, Kurt Busch would also have the past champions provisional, so he would be protected. What are your thoughts about that? Roger hasn't definitely said that, but it is a point of consideration.
Well, I mean, he never says anything unless he's really thinking about doing it. I mean, to take Kurt Busch's points and give them to Sam Hornish, which is totally legal, and that lets Sam get in the first 5 races, then, you know, then Kurt Busch would start on his championship. That's something else. And DJ, you've got to. That's a different situation. I haven't ever heard anything like that happening.
No, but I think that they've looked at the rules, and I think that's the right thing to do. You know, that Sam is an excellent race driver. He just needs time in these race cars, and it's not going to really affect Kurt whatsoever. He's a great qualifier, and even if it should rain, then he's got that to fall back on, the past champions deal. Or if they should have any problem in qualifying, he has that to fall on for the first 5 races. So I really don't see it as being anything that they're taking a chance. I think it's a great business sense, and we all know that Roger Penske is one of the best businessmen in this country, not just in this business. And so I think it's probably the very smart thing for them to do. Yeah, I've been asked the question, well, that will affect me a lot, but you know, that's not the thing. I think they're doing the right thing, and you know, I plan on qualifying for the first 5 on time anyway. So I think they're doing a smart thing by getting Sam in there to where he can get a lot more time on these racetracks.
Yeah, good point, DJ. I wouldn't bet against Roger Penske when it comes to business decisions. Obviously, Sam Hornish, a 3-time IRL champion and winningest driver in Indy Racing League history. Our lucky dog is Brad Baker, the Aaron's Lucky Dog Free Pass Award winner. He was involved in a skirmish on lap 4 and got a lap down. Now the first car lap down, gets to go back around and get back on the lead lap here after this 2nd caution flag of the day. Pace car pulls away. Kyle Busch, who only changed 2 tires and has led the most laps on the tour this year, will lead him down as the leader and our points leader. The 60 car, of course, of Carl Edwards. He finds himself back in 7th position.
Right now, it looks like a pretty clean start. Kyle Busch leading this race right now. And Andy, with 22 laps when the caution flag came out, right side tires is probably not a bad call. It's probably at least enough laps that it's not going to affect the thing too much with just doing right sides.
That's the best time in the world to do it after you've just run a few laps. Put right sides on and gain some track position while these other guys get forward. And then they can kind of judge how that works. You know, if it doesn't work, you got plenty of time to recover. And if it does work, you put that in the bank and you learn, you know, you remember that at the end of the race.
And it looks like he had a really slow pit stop. Kyle did. In fact, the right rear tire changer was there. The right front didn't even show up. And so maybe they just had to do two because of that.
Pretty good battle for third spot, or it was momentarily, as Tony Stewart just goes sailing by. Remember, Tony had a little more of a lengthy stop as well. They tried to pull that right front fender away. 55 and 88, Brad Keselowski driving for Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 88 car. Remember, he had to go all the way to the back of the pack because of an unapproved adjustment and also unapproved lug nuts on the 88 car. What gives there, Andy?
Well, they're trying some little tricks. I mean, all these guys try to do everything they can to make fast pit stops. One thing you can do with the lug nuts is if you remove some of the threads, it doesn't take as many revolutions to make them go up against the wheel. And maybe they tried that, and NASCAR didn't like it.
You see the air dam's had some repair in the left front air dam. Evidently it broke or something. They fixed that at a pit stop, it looks like.
They made a pit stop after that first caution flag. It came in and worked on it, but now they're moving up nicely. They're, you know, they're up in the top 15.
Back up front, Kyle Busch is the leader, but the 18 guys is coming. Tony Stewart is on the hunt. Dave?
And Jerry, Rusty made some comments about how that stop was slow for the 5 car. Let's listen to some radio first between the crew and Kyle, and then I'll follow up as well. Here it is.
Did we recruit from ARCA? Is that the excuse? No, it's not the excuse. Oh, it's okay for you? No, son, I'll take it. Didn't look like a healthy stop to me, but you're the crew chief. You're the man. It's nothing to do with the stop. The tires weren't set, Kyle. They can't go over there and change the tires. They're not set. They're not set right now. I was busy fixing a wrecked car. I didn't get a chance to come out here.
Okay, there it is. It's been a long day for this crew so far. Crew Chief Alan Gustafson had been working on Kyle's race car since it hit the wall in practice earlier today. He was not happy about that. You heard his explanation. He got out here a little late. The tires weren't set, and so when they went to put him on the race car, everything was not in place, let's say, for that first pit stop. So Crew Chief upset, driver a little sarcastic, and even though he's leading the race, it's not been pretty so far.
Well, hey, it's tough to blame Kyle for that. I mean, he's the race car driver. Let's take a look at his replay. I want to watch his pit stop one more time here.
Does he have a legitimate beef?
Yeah, look, the right rear tire changer's there. The right front's just now coming around, just walking real slowly. Changing the right front tire. Man, they can't even take a chance right now to put 4 on because he's going to be beat so bad it's unreal.
Well, and just for, you know, to be fair, he was saying that the reason these guys were so stretched and stretched so thin is because their cup car got crashed and they were in there working on it in the garage area.
Well, folks, last week there were also issues, a different crew, but in the 5 car in the final pit stop.
Yeah, you see the one on top where they make a nice clean pit stop. The one on the bottom is the money stop. At the end of the race, they came in, had this problem. They didn't get the right front up high enough. Really cost them a lot of time and probably cost them a shot at getting a win last week in Atlanta.
Yeah, guys, let's just be fair about this whole thing. This is the reason it's leading to this frustration. Almost a threat for the pass right here. Tony Stewart's caught him on those 4 fresh tires. Kyle's only got 2. But boy, after last weekend losing that race in Atlanta with a bad pit stop and now another one to start, that's the reason he's mad.
Yeah, people may not realize that Kyle Busch was the leader when that caution came out at Atlanta, and because of that stop was back in traffic and got swept up into the incident there on the final restart, the green-white checker. Tony Stewart makes it look easy as he goes sailing by. And we told you that there are 17 drivers in this race today that are also running double duty on Sunday's NASCAR Nextel Cup event, including the top 2 guys here, Tony Stewart and Kyle Busch, who, oh, by the way, are also chasing the NASCAR Nextel Cup. Back with more from Texas in a moment. Tomorrow, the chase for the Nextel Cup Championship is down to just 3 races to go. No driver has ever won a race here in the championship in the same year. 7 of the top 12 April Texas finishes are in the chase, and the chase leaders Gordon and Johnson have never won at this racetrack. It's all on the line at the Great American Speedway. Our NASCAR Nextel Cup Series coverage begins, folks, at 3 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow on ABC. Again, 3 o'clock Eastern on ABC tomorrow. And we are anticipating crowning a champion here today, and one Carl Edwards, who must finish 36th or worse. If Ruderman were to win the race and right now he is currently running in the top 10 at 8th spot.
Well, right now his car is looking pretty good. He's within 0.2 of a second of the leader. And guys, you got to believe last week's race at Memphis, with all these crashes are on his mind. He's got to stay out of the controversy. He just wants to finish this thing and get the big trophy.
And we showed you how anxious his family, his mom was earlier. Let's check in where Jamie is caught up with Nancy Sterling.
And that's Carl Edwards' mom. Nancy, I see you watching every lap and listening. What are the emotions like for you today, knowing your son could wrap up his first ever NASCAR championship?
I can tell you every single lap, I watch the lap times, I watch everybody's lap times, and I hear him saying things like, my car is loose, and I just don't want anything to happen today. I want him to clinch this championship and be able to sleep tonight knowing he won.
Putting it all on the line today. You guys went through this last week. How were his emotions coming into today, and what's on the line?
He really seemed to be very calm today, and he felt like this really was the day. So I'm hoping that it really is.
Maybe we'll be here and we'll talk to you at the end and celebrate.
That would be awesome. I hope so, Jamie.
All right, that's Nancy Sterling, guys. We'll follow her throughout the race as we watch Carl Edwards.
Thank you, Jamie, and thank you, Nancy. What a long road it has been for Carl Edwards. Brad, you got more?
Yeah, absolutely, Doc, and you're absolutely right. It's been a long road for Carl and Pierre Cattell. They had such a great run early in the season, and they've just struggled as of the last 8 or 9 weeks. But both of these guys, make no mistake, they want to go out with a win today. They want to solidify what they've done with a victory today and a championship trophy. They don't want to just finish 36 and be second horse in this show. They want to be the whole series today, the whole show, and go out of here on top.
Remember, Carl has finished 25th or worse in 7 of the last 10 events. They have just tried so hard, and it's just a matter of being in the wrong place at the right time. Speaking of being in the right place at the right time, how about the guy who won the Cup race here last fall, 2-time Cup champion Tony Stewart? You heard him say at the top of the show, he's running his final NASCAR Busch race of the year. How about the 99 car, our newest winner in NASCAR Busch competition, David Rudiman, becoming our 15th different winner when he won at Memphis in dominant fashion a week ago. Back in 3rd spot is the 20 car, Denny Hamlin, who has had plenty of success this year in the NASCAR Busch Series. Also one of our chase contenders. We have 8 drivers who are in the NASCAR Nextel Cup Chase who are actually running this race here today.
See Kevin Harvick in the 21 car. He's got a good run going on right now. He's very, very close to the same speed as the leaders. And man, he just mopped them up last year in the Busch Series. And this year decided to cut back his roll a little bit. But probably feels pretty familiar back in his 21 car.
Yes, teammates right behind him here, Jeff Burton. See him coming in the picture, the 29 car, and then Matt Kenseth. Matt Kenseth just took 2 tires on that last pit stop. He's hanging in there pretty good. But Jeff Burton, he knows how to get around this racetrack. He's won here before in the Cup Series. And man, he's always had this 29 car strolling.
And next in line will be Carl Edwards, our points leader. There's Carl, telling you he was going to be careful with the car early on. Back in 7th position is Edwards.
Nothing looks wrong with the car. Looks like it's driving pretty well for him. The speeds are good, and right now just looks very cautious, not racing anybody. And man, when you're going for a championship, you got the opportunity to do it. That's where you need to be, away from everybody.
Clint Boyer in the 2 car, 2-time winner this year in the NASCAR Busch Series. Also one of the chase contenders, 3rd in the chase. BB&T colors on the Chevrolet. Also a little bit of hood compression there on the front of the car.
Yeah, it looks like he's got a little bit of deflection in that hood. You get a lot of downforce on that hood. And looks like their bracing's a little bit weak in that area, but it's handling pretty well.
It's another team that hasn't run all the races. The 2 car, Richard Childress Racing. But every time he gets in that car, he's got a good one. And take a look here at Bobby Hamilton Jr. Jerry, this fellow's was a champion, wannabe champion, NASCAR Nextel Cup, racing hard in the Busch Series. Remember, he was with Harold Holly when they were so strong. The crew chief he had did a good job for him, Andy.
Yeah, he's always done a good job in the Busch Series, and having a great run. They need to get something going for next year here.
Bobby Hamilton Jr. right now 6th in the point standings, running the full NASCAR Busch Tour. We ask him his opinion on this current chase for the championship by Edwards and others.
Well, you're going after him for the championship. That's the way I look at it. You know, Carl Edwards, you know, when you look at it, with the information they get, with the caliber driver Carl is, with the caliber team that Roush is, it shouldn't even be no competition. You know, they ought to be ashamed of if they ain't already locked it up. You know, I mean, seriously. You know, same thing with RCR. The way those guys are structured over there, they shouldn't lose a race. And if they get out and lose a race, or if there's a guy like me sitting in the top 5 points and kick one of your team's butt, you need to get out and really look at your structure and say, wait a minute, I'm spending the wrong money somewhere.
Bobby Hamilton, you can tell they're a one-car operation here, especially a two-car operation running the Busch only, and it's very difficult to compete against teams that run in both Busch and Cup.
Well, Bobby's talked about championships for a long time. He wanted to win one so bad in this Busch Series. He's been trying and trying and trying, and one of these days he'll get it. He's a real aggressive driver. Good little driver out there.
And speaking of Busch champions, how about the guy currently running in 6th spot? Former Busch Series champion Greg Biffle in the 16 car. Talking about having a great career in the Busch Series and a pretty darn good one in Cup. He won the pole in Atlanta a week ago, his first pole of 2007 in Nextel Cup. Tony Stewart is our leader, but this guy right here, Carl Edwards, he says, I don't know if I want to win 5 this year, but if I can just celebrate with this signature somersault today, that means I will probably become the 2007 NASCAR Busch Series champion. Back at Texas Motor Speedway, NASCAR Busch Series action, and we've had a car scrape the wall. We are still under green here thus far. No yellow flag. The 99 car, our pole sitter and most recent winner, David Rudiman, headed to pit road.
And boy, he's got a flat right front tire, and he's getting this thing slowed down. He doesn't want to see it blow apart like Sam Hornish's tire did.
All the way down. He went all the way up right next to the wall. Looked like he hit the wall, but looking at the right side of the car, no damage.
Let's see how close he got. There's the tire that goes down. Here he goes toward the wall. Oh, real close.
Doesn't hit a thing. Boy, that was lucky right there. The other thing lucky is the tire hasn't blown off yet, Andy. Blew the fender off this thing.
Shannon?
Well, David Rudiman having a great run in the top 5, holding in second, started from the pole. They're going to give him 4 tires. Like you said, cut a tire, hit the wall, going to get back out there and try to make up some space. Alan?
So David Rudiman, who started on the pole and was running second at the time of that problem, is going to go at least 1 lap down and probably a couple as he drops back to now 33rd place. Early in the going here at Texas Motor Speedway on what could be a championship day for Carl Edwards, and could also be a big day in the championship tomorrow for both Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson as we bring you coverage of the Nextel Cup race here on ABC at 3 Eastern time tomorrow afternoon. Tony Stewart's been the dominant driver so far in the race, but the big focus is Carl Edwards trying to win a championship. 36th or better is the story of the day today for him. He's running in 5th place right now. Are there nerves in his pit? Well, yeah. That's Mom on the pit box, and certainly they'll be wound pretty tight until they clinch this thing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a big day for them. I mean, Carl has worked extremely hard and to get to this point and have this opportunity. And as we all realize, our families are a big part of that. They give up a lot more than is really publicized and what you could ever imagine to help you get to this point. So I know she's very proud, as she said, of Carl and his accomplishments. And he's doing everything that he has to do here today to make that dream come true.
Turned out to be a great young race car driver, worked his way up through the ranks of the late model stocks, up through trucks. Now here he is on the verge of winning his first championship in the Busch Series and hopefully moving on someday to win one of the Cup Series. But yeah, he and Pierre Cattell, both of them, just like I said, they want to win this race. They've got a good race car today, so he's marching towards the front of that line.
There are 4 drivers out of the race. There are 2 and now possibly a 3rd going to the garage and not yet officially retired, but off the racetrack. So that means right now, if something happened to Carl, the worst he could finish is 37th. And he's getting closer. 36th or better if Rudiman wins the race, does the job. And right now, Rudiman is way back in 33rd spot after that flat tire just a minute ago. So Carl Edwards looking to hoist the championship trophy at the end of the day here at Texas Motor Speedway, and we will see if that is what unfolds here over the next little while. Still early, though, and I'm wondering, a right front flat. Did Rudiman run over something? This has been a long green flag run. We will have to wait and see, Doc.
And maybe the numbers are finally adding up in Carl Edwards' favor after struggling the last 15 to 17 events, 7 finishes of 25th or worse. Maybe with Rudeman having an issue and some guys now going in the garage area, he is getting very close. Remember, as you heard Alan say, he's got to finish 36th or better. And right now, Carl Edwards being shown in 5th position.
It's kind of funny. I'm sitting here thinking like a crew chief and thinking if I'm Pierre Cattell on that pit box, what I'm thinking about right now, and it was exactly what Alan said. You see a tire go down and you go, boy, I hope there's not going to be any tire problems. We don't need that. You know, it's just all these little things creep in your head.
Well, you just hope there was a puncture. They told us it was, and you didn't see any blisters or tires starting to fail like we saw last weekend. That is an issue, but Andy, they've run here enough now, and the tracks doesn't eat up tires like Atlanta did last weekend. Should be okay here today.
Yeah, well, the tire's probably okay, but if you're in that pit box and you're trying to clinch and you don't want anything to happen to your car, you're just hoping, okay, anything that happens, it can be just like, oh no, don't let that happen to you.
Yeah, crickets become dinosaurs,
right.
But this time when you're trying to win a championship. Now, what about the 5 car? Kyle Busch, who led for 10 laps, and guys, he changed only those 2 right side tires, albeit a little bit of an issue with that pit stop. He is going backwards. He's going the wrong direction.
It looks like that taking 2 tires was a wrong move. It looks like it's definitely not working for Kyle Busch, but the 17 car is still in the 7th spot after he took just 2, so just depends on how your car is, and I'm not sure exactly what's going on with the 5, but maybe Dave Burns can tell us.
Yeah, and you've been listening to them, and they were talking about the right front tire on that car. Crew Chief Alan Gustafson passing forward the news to Kyle that the buildup had been tremendous on that right front. That will make your race car tight. Kyle's question back was, so am I tighter than I should be? And they kind of talked about it back and forth. No, you are tight, but the buildup is more than it should be. We can fix that. An adjustment on the next stop to take some of that away, but that's why he's been losing positions.
That explains it. Going backwards, you see the 12 car, the damaged car of Sam Hornish, back in behind the 5 car. 33 car running in 14th position. Tony Raines, good run for Tony. Driving for Kevin Harvick Incorporated. Delana Harvick, the car owner listed of note there. And he's trying to make a move and will make the move inside the 5 car for Kyle Busch for 13th spot. Back up front, the guy they're chasing, Tony Stewart. Final NASCAR Busch Series start of 2007 for Tony. His best finish, he was passed on the final lap by his teammate, Bobby Labonte at Talladega. Labonte wanted, he finished second. He says, I want to win one of these before the year's out, and today just might be my day. Back at Texas Motor Speedway, NASCAR Busch Series action, Fort Worth, Texas. Welcome back, folks, to the O'Reilly Auto Parts Challenge. There's the 5 car that has been back on and off of pit road. We told you he was falling back. He has been on for a tire change. Kevin Harvick, the 21 car. He is the 3-time winner here in NASCAR Busch competition. Has the overall best record of any Busch driver at this racetrack. And that's the distance between himself and Denny Hamlin, who's in 2nd spot.
You see how Kyle Busch made that pit stop. He was losing a lot of time to the leaders. And a track where you have tires that fall off 2 seconds a lap and more, these guys maybe won't wait till their fuel tank runs dry before they come in because there's so much to be gained by changing tires.
So they're going to come in and cut their losses early and get some tires in this thing. And while that's going on, Tony Stewart just running around this racetrack pretty quick. He's the fastest car on the track, and now he's lapped everybody. There's 19 cars in the lead lap, and Tony's been lapping these guys left and right.
Kevin Harvick here trying to make a move under Hamlin. Harvick 3 wins, 6 top 10 finishes here in 7 starts. Look at the different grooves. He's all the way at the bottom of the racetrack, and now Hamlin's forced to come down underneath Brad Baker.
Looks like he got a little help from that 27 being in the way. I think the 20 car's working the top side of the racetrack pretty well, but he kind of ran up behind that 27 and broke his momentum.
Man, I'm amazed how the whole racetrack's coming in. They're running on the bottom, the middle, the top, and the groove has really came in. I'm surprised it happened this early. We expect it in the NASCAR Nextel Cup race, but not this early in the Busch Series.
Coming back on the racetrack, the 10 car of Brent Sherman, who has been in the garage area at Toyota, Trent Owens and company making repairs. And why is this important? If you're Carl Edwards, when you got a car back on the racetrack, that means that's one more you have to worry about in terms of where you need to finish when the day is over. Here's the 10 car, Brent Sherman coming back out of the garage area.
Yeah, right now Carl Edwards wants everybody behind the wall all they possibly can so he can lock up this championship today. For a while there, if 2 more cars fell out, Carl had it locked up, and now one of them pulled back in the track and messed up that program.
They've got one eye peeled on that monitor to see how many cars are running, but they've got a great race car today. They're in the top 5. I got to think they're thinking about winning this race.
And if we get green flag pit stops and he can stay out and lead a lap, he only has to finish 38th or better. But he has yet to lead a lap today. Jamie?
Well, Andy, to add what you just said, I talked to Pierre Cattell, his crew chief, right before the race, and he said, you know what, this is business as usual. We're here to win a race, and that's what we want to do today. They're very racy. Carl wants to know his lap times and the leader's lap time every single lap. Now his crew getting ready right now for Carl to make a pit stop here in probably the next 10 laps or so. He needs an air pressure adjustment, and that's it. His car's loosening up, but right now he's making a forge to the front.
They want to win the race and the championship, and that's the way it should be. We asked Carl Edwards about how do you deal with the pressure? How do you not let the pressure of winning a championship get to you?
I don't really have any room for extra pressure in my life. I don't, I've put pressure on myself from day one, no matter what I was racing in. And I have a certain amount that I let myself feel, and anything beyond that, I don't really, I don't really let in. So the idea that we can win all these things and it could be so great, that's great. That's a great goal, but I try really hard not to let that affect, my racing and not to let it affect me personally. But it is, I think about it a little bit, but I got to be careful how much I think about it.
The best way to not let the pressure get to you for a championship is build a 600-700 point lead early and don't worry about it.
Yeah, try 800 points. That's where he was early on, and when you have they've stumbled a little bit here down the stretch.
Guys, things are starting to heat up here. I expect these leaders to be coming down pit road another 3 or 4 laps. For fuel, tires, get back after. The race has been pretty caution-free so far. I mean, just a 1 or 2 of them, and these guys are being pretty smart out there on the track today, unlike last week.
By the way, Bobby Hamilton just went by the 17 car. That's 4 positions, so little Bobby now in 8th position. And we are being told that the 17 car will pit in 5 laps. Will be their scheduled stop.
Most of these guys want to get down pit road right now and get tires because the cars are sliding around, but they're just so afraid if they do that the caution will come out and catch them down a lap or 2. So that's the only reason they're holding off right now.
Tony Stewart has led twice for 73 laps. Here's the 66 car on pit road. That is Steve Wallace making his 50th career NASCAR Busch Series start here today. Also the 24, Casey Mears on pit road. Dave.
Gets up 17th position, Doc, come down pit road. He'll get that chassis adjustment in the car. It was, the entry was better. The last change they made actually worked, but now it's tight from the center to the exit of the corner. A 4-tire stop for Casey Mears.
Yeah, this is a critical stop, guys. A lot of guys want to get in here and fix the ill-handling cars that some have problems with. If you got a loose condition or a pushing condition, this is one of the most important stops to get it fixed so you don't lose any more ground.
I think Tony Stewart should start handing out headache powder because he has given the competition a headache here with that car. Tony says, okay, I'm going to run my last Busch Series race at Texas this year because I'm going to focus on the Cup Championship, and still hasn't won. Here's the 55 on pit road. The efforts of Robbie Gordon. Shannon?
That's right. Robbie Gordon coming down pit road right now. He's going to take 4 tires and fuel. He was saying that he thought he felt a vibration in the right front tire. So they're going to go ahead and take a look at that when they take that tire off.
See, they're having a problem with the pit stop right there, and a vibration, that's the last thing you want out there because you don't know what's going on. You don't know if you got a tire blowing out or what's happening. Dave.
The 9 car of Elliott Sadler having a decent run today, but grip has been the biggest problem. That 4-tire change will include adjustments. He had no front grip in the center of the corner and no rear grip in and off. That's what they're trying to fix. Tony Raines also on pit road, having a great run as well. Jamie?
And Tony Stewart making his way down pit road. His car has been great. He's been so quiet on the radio. And an interesting factoid to keep in mind, guys, Tony Stewart has never won a Busch race for Joe Gibbs Racing. As we noted, this is his 3rd time in the car, and he's hoping to get it done today. He seems to be the car to beat. 4 tires, no changes for Tony Stewart. Shannon?
Well, Jamie, Denny Hamlin qualified 6th for this race. Right now, he's saying he's a little bit loose in the turns. Looks like they're going to make a 4-tire change for Denny, get that car fixed up. He finished 2nd in this race this year, and he's looking for a better finish here today.
10 laps shy of halfway. Here comes our points leader, Carl Edwards, in the 60 car. Down for what should be his scheduled stop. Jamie?
And Carl Edwards, I said it would be about 10 laps. He's coming in. He is in, and he said he's a little bit loose. They were going to make an air pressure adjustment thanks to Greg Biffle, the 16 car. I guess it seemed to help him on the last stop. So Carl Edwards, 4 tires. Car's doing all right, guys, and he's plugging away to his first championship. Doc?
Pretty flawless pit stop there, and you can see the pensive look in the faces of the crew members. Here is Greg Biffle on for his stop. Mike?
And Greg Biffle saying the car's a little bit loose, but otherwise pretty good. A 4-tire change in fuel on the 16 car. They've been struggling with rear grip throughout the course of the weekend, but feel like they fixed this. They went through 3 sets of shocks in practice, but found the right one with a very basic setup for this race. He's away with a very good stop. Jamie?
And Jeff Burton is in. Remember, he had that little tap on the 22. His car got tight. They loosened him up. He's been running top 10 all day. He's down and away. Doc?
Jeff Burton, 3-time winner this year on 1.5-mile racetracks. Trying to get a win here at Texas. Is a 2-time Cup winner at Texas Motor Speedway. Good pit stop there for Pat Smith and the company. DJ.
Yeah, you know, these green flag pit stops have been good for a lot of things, but it certainly got David Rudiman back in this race. He's out on the racetrack now, not too far behind Tony Stewart. So what would help him now would be a caution flag here in not too distant future before he has to come back in. But he's got a very fast race car, but these green flag stops helped him quite a bit. And the other thing that has really helped are guys that aren't used to making green flag pit stops. Dario Franchitti's in this race for reasons to get a lot of experience, and one of those things is, as we saw him make a pit stop a few minutes ago, learning how to get on the pit road, how fast you can go, and that these cars don't stop nearly as well as what he's been used to driving.
Great point, DJ. These guys trying to learn the NASCAR Busch Series, all the things he's going to have to know to be effective in Cup full-time in 2008. How about a little team huddle down there in the Roush Fenway crew? These guys know what this day could mean. Talking about how important it is to be focused, be accountable for Carl Edwards, because we could come home as a champion team when this day is done. Beautiful panoramic coverage from high above Texas Motor Speedway, courtesy of our good friends at Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR, helping NASCAR drivers get to the finish line for over 50 years. Glad to have you with us here along with Andy Petrie, Rusty Wallace. I'm Jerry Punch. NASCAR Busch Series action here. There's the leader, Tony Stewart, who has led 3 times for a total of 84 of the 99 laps thus far. Halfway next time by, let's bring you up to speed, starting with our leader. Here's Jamie Little.
And Tony Stewart started second. It ties his best start in the Busch Series this year. Guys, he has been so good. He has made 0 changes. He came in on that last stop and they put a piece of tape on it, and it took him no time at all to get back in the front. Dave?
Jamie, Kevin Harvick hit pit road on lap 90. The car was a bit pushy. They made a air pressure adjustment, and it was much better at the get-go. Looser in traffic, much better, but a little bit free when it's out on its own. But the right adjustment, Shannon.
Pole sitter David Rudiman back up front where he started this race. He did not pit on that last pit stop, and that's, guys, because he was off sequence. Remember, back on lap 62, cut a tire, hit the wall. They came down at that time, took 4 tires and fuel. David Rudiman currently running 4th. Now in front of him, Denny Hamlin. Hard to believe that just 2 years ago, Hamlin was introduced as the driver of his Cup car right before this race. Now up until that point, Denny Hamlin had only raced 4 Cup races. What a difference 2 years makes. He currently has 5 wins in this Busch Series. Mike.
Well, Shannon, Greg Biffle has won at least 1 Busch Series race in each of the last 6 seasons. However, so far in 2007, he's been shut out of victory lane. His best chance, perhaps, was at Charlotte when he thought he had, quote-unquote, a gimme until he wrecked that race car. He was so in love with that race car, they rebuilt it within the last 10 days to have it ready for this particular race. A new body and a new front clip, and he's raced from the 20th starting position inside the top 10 today. Jamie?
And Jeff Burton in the car for the 18th time in the Busch Series this season. He said he loves getting in these Busch cars. It's just a riot. They're so crazy fast here in Texas. He's saying that he's pretty tight, but he's been pretty much happy with the car, working his way up. He currently 6th. And right behind him, Carl Edwards, the man of the day, looking to win his first championship. He came in and they made a track bar adjustment on that last stop, but Carl Edwards came over the radio and commended his boys and said, great job keeping the team spirit. They all rallied together as we saw that huddle. Let's go to Dave.
Kyle Busch's team improved his race car a bit. Remember, he was the one that pitted early on lap 75 under green. He'll be about 15 laps behind the other cars that have to pit earlier if this stays green now. The right front tire was on the cords, so that was a good move to bring him in before they encountered any more peril. Shannon?
Well, Clint Boyer in that number 2 car, he's battling some tight conditions. Now it's been announced that Clint Boyer will run this car full-time next season for a Busch championship. Now NASCAR has been discussing possibly changing the points rule for the Busch Series. When asked about that, Clint Boyer said, I would race for points anyways. I race on dirt and I'm not racing for points there. I come to the Busch side and I have just fun. I'm just doing it for fun. If there are no points associated, I would still think about doing it. Mike?
Well, talk about a tough car to handle. Recently, Drew Blickensderfer asked his driver, Matt Kenseth, how the car was. There was a long pause, and then Kenseth came on the radio and said, I don't know what to tell you. It's loose and tight. He's bouncing off his front springs real bad and is looking for some more front grip. Still, he's been able to charge from the 25th starting position inside the top 10 and still is in contention for this win once again this afternoon. Shannon?
Jr. currently running 11th. That's Bobby Hamilton Jr. running 11th. His best finish at this track is 5th back in 2004. He told me his goal this season is to be the highest finishing Busch-only driver. He is currently 293 points behind Jason Leffler, who is in 3rd. So he's got some space to make up if he wants to reach that goal. Now, Brad Keselowski in that number 88 car, he's been working with crew chief Tony Uri Sr. for the last couple weeks. Now, Brad told me this is the first week that they have a brand new car. And it's sort of a fusion between Brad's ideas and Tony Uri Sr.'s ideas. They started this program with Tony Uri Sr. just trying to have Brad adjust to their setups. Brad said this is the best car he's had, and he's really looking forward to the rest of the season and to next season. Mike?
Stephen Light is driving the car he has nicknamed the Rocket. It's the car he won with in Kentucky, but it really has been anything but a rocket. So far, it's been a little bit free and struggled with a bit of a vibration in the right front. They stopped the last time, looked at the tire. They didn't find anything wrong with it, but still, the car not exactly to Stephen Light's liking at this point. Dave?
Tony Rain's car was loose off the corner that last time. They tried to adjust to fix it. It's still loose off. In fact, on lap 105, Tony screamed, did you see that? His spotter said, yeah, nice save. Almost wrecked lap 105. The 24 of Casey Mears having a pretty good run. Talked to Chad Walter this morning because they had a bad qualifying run. We know now that they started at the rear for an infraction. Either way, Chad said that car was good to be good in traffic. He was hoping that after a few laps it would come to Casey. It has so far. It's been a decent car, currently in the 15th position. Doc?
And there's the 38 car. Great job, guys. Jason Leffler in the Toyota. He goes sailing by. Leffler led the first 2 laps of the season. Leffler being shown in 15th position. And, of course, you heard the fact that he is 3rd overall in the point standings. He is the second highest running Busch-only, or the highest running Busch-only driver in the series. Here comes the leader, the 18 car of Tony Stewart. Whoa, right up behind Kyle Krisiloff as he tries to move in and put Leffler a lap down. The 24 car also trying to stay on the lead lap. Casey Mears, that will not happen. Whoa, damage on the front of the 18 a little bit of a wobble there.
Yeah, he really hit him pretty hard. He got in the back of Kyle Krisiloff, and he's trying to put the leader, or the car of Jason Leffler, lap down, but now he's got damage.
He's got some real damage in that headlight area. That could hurt him some. Looks like there's a hole right there. This car's been blinding fast all day, but this might slow him down a little.
Now watch him as he approaches the lap car of Kyle Krisiloff, the 14 car.
Got a lot of momentum going right now. And he sails off in the corner. And, boy, that was just a racing accident right there. I can't blame that on Kyle or on Tony. They both came to the crossroads there, and Tony got the bad end of that deal.
And we'll have to find out how significant that damage is. We'll check in with Jason Ratcliffe and the crew and update you on the right front of the 18 car when we come back to Texas in a moment. This telecast of the NASCAR Busch Series is available in high definition on ESPN2 HD, presented by Vizio. 82 laps to go. Take a look at our nationwide fast cam. See the cars flashing by. Folks, 190 miles an hour. That's how fast that is, and that's how fast that looks. Tony Stewart, our leader, but heating up now for second position, Kevin Harvick. Trying to hold off the 20 car of Denny Hamlin and starting to reel him in a little bit.
Yeah, Denny Hamlin's just a little bit quicker than Harvick right now. It looks like Harvick's getting held up in lap traffic just a little bit. With the thread and needle getting underneath Kyle Kristoff down into turn 1, and Hamlin's right on his bumper right now.
That 21 car's been running up front, running second, but he hasn't been all that happy with it. Kevin has.
Kevin Harvick on the very bottom of the racetrack, and looks like the 20 is coming, Dave.
And the 21 car is not exactly where he wants to be yet adjustment-wise, and Denny Hamlin loses in the rearview mirror. Listen to his radio.
So loose, I can't go. We'll get it tightened up for you next time. I'm having a hard time now working it, to be honest with you. Just best you can, we'll get it.
And I want to go to our pit studio and ask Dale Jarrett, what's it like to drive a race car that honestly is tough to not wreck?
Yeah, that's no fun here because you are running extremely fast. We talked about the transitions into and out of the corners, and you get back to the gas so hard. That's where you really can make your time here, is getting off of these corners. A loose race car is very, very difficult. You got a tight grip on the steering wheel, makes it very, very difficult. And the car we see right behind these guys coming on right now is Greg Biffle. I think if we have a caution flag, it may not even take that. He's going to be a factor in this race.
For more information on crew communications, log on to ESPN.com. Search word communication. There's the guy that DJ's talking about, Greg Biffle, former Busch Series champion, and he goes sailing by the 21 car and easing in on the 20 car. That would be for second position. Does anyone have anything for Tony Stewart? Remember, he had that headlight damage with contact with the 14 car. 78 laps to go, and Stewart has been the dominant car throughout the afternoon. Back with more from Texas in just a moment.
Yellow's out, debris, turn 3.
Welcome back to the O'Reilly Auto Parts Challenge, Texas Motor Speedway, and the caution just now waving debris up in turn 3. You saw flagman Kevin Moss waving it, and now the 18 crew will get a chance to come down pit road and assess and repair the damage on the front of that car. Jamie Little.
And Doc, this is what the team has created for Tony Stewart to fix that damage. They took some fiberglass and the Barabon tape, put it together, and they created this new flap here, a cover for that hole. Because what that hole is doing, it's creating drag where the air actually goes through the car and slows him down. So Tony Stewart came over the radio and said he has a tight condition. That car doesn't want to turn. So now when he comes in, you see his teammates here, some guys from his Cup team. You see one of Denny Hamlin, his teammates' Cup teams. Guys all getting together, conspiring how fast and how quickly they can repair the leader's car of Tony Stewart. Doc?
They're going to have some work to do. They're going to have to change 4 tires and fix this and try to not lose the track position that they've got right here. So they got a little task on their hands. It's going to be interesting to see how quick they can get this done.
And Andy, another thing that's coming into play right now, it's 72 laps to go. These guys running anywhere between 67 and 69 laps on fuel. So this could turn into another fuel mileage event.
Better get it full of fuel in spite of having to fix that right front. So we'll see what they do and how they do it. How about the 21 guys in Harvick's pit? Dave.
Near disaster, Doc. The main airline that feeds both air wrenches just blew out. They got it back together in time for Kevin to come in. They will change 4 tires on this car. They'll make an air pressure and track bar adjustment just so loose was Kevin's complaint. Mike?
Greg Biffle saying the car's just a little bit loose. The call for 4 tire change, and they're going to go down a half round on the track bar, trying to make that car a little bit tighter. Jamie?
And Tony Stewart needed that caution, guys. He needs that flap. That is an actual patch they're going to replace on that right side damage for Tony Stewart. Obviously, it didn't affect him too much. He held on to that lead. They're going to change those right side tires and left side just to be precautious, but you see them working quickly, getting that Barabon tape on there, patching it up so it doesn't create that drag. They want the air to go over the car to make them faster, not through the car. Good job, good effort on that 18 team, guys. Tony Stewart remaining optimistic after his encounter with Kyle Kristoff early.
And Andy's doing the right thing right now, staying put, getting this thing fixed, because if that Barabon blows off and they don't get it stuck on good enough, he just defeated everything he's been trying to accomplish.
There's 16 cars on the lead lap, so that's going to be the worst he's going to start here. So all those cars probably beat him off pit road, so they're going to stay there and fix it right.
They win the award for the most different colored uniforms working on the car. Here is Biffle coming off of pit road. They pull the peel away windshield. Watch the 16 car and Harvick, who's going to win it. Biffle up through the gears. Got to be careful not to speed as they head down. You saw Jeff Burton coming out. And at the end of pit road at the stripe, Greg Biffle gets the margin. Back with a restart in just a moment. Back in Texas, just completing caution number 3 on the day here in the NASCAR Busch Series action. Tony Stewart has been the dominant car, came back on the pit road and topped off his fuel tank to make sure they got everything completed there with that bearer bond on the right front where he had the puncture. By the way, under the caution, this 24 car, Casey Mears is the lucky dog. He gets the free pass, being the first car lap down, getting to go back on the lead lap. And the restart here with just 68 laps to go. Denny Hamlin leads him down. 99 car of Rudeman is the first car a lap down trying to hang there, but Hamlin goes high. Now on the bottom of the racetrack, David Reagan is there, but Hamlin trying to stay in front of the 16 car Biffle, who is the second place car.
Man, they are all jammed up, getting down into turn 3 right now. What a deal. I mean, 3 wide. Look at this. David Rudeman in the middle of the track. David Reagan on the bottom, and Andy, that can flat make your car loose when you get this tight together.
Got these guys racing for that lucky dog spot, man. These guys are going after it right here.
How about Kyle Busch trying to get to the high side? Kyle in the 5 car there, trying to get to the high side of the 99, who's got a fast car, but he's a lap down. There is the 5 of Kyle. Behind him, the 21 of Harvick, and behind him, Harvick's teammate, Jeff Burton.
Boy, David Rudeman didn't make that very last pit stop. He pitted earlier. He just doesn't have as good tires as the rest of these guys. And they are flat roughing him up a little bit right now because of that lack of grip.
Trouble on the racetrack, the 30 car, and having a good run with Stanton Barrett. And his Chevy is coming to pretty hard contact with the wall up high. That will bring out caution for the 4th time. Brad Baker, damage early in the first caution of the day. Also more damage here in this one. He heads down pit road.
You hate to see this for Brad Baker. He's getting a lot of experience out here. He's going to be running the Busch Series a lot next year, which is going to be the Nationwide Series. He just needs that track time.
Stanton Barrett.
Pedal drive, come on.
Car pinned up against the wall, and so it's hard for Stan to get out. 55 car, Robbie Gordon is our Aaron's Lucky Dog Free Pass Award winner. He was the first driver lap down, and now we'll get back on the lead lap.
Now we see why he was racing so hard for that spot. It paid off for him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, these guys got to go for it to get that lucky dog position, get that lap back. I mean, these guys are running every lap like it's a qualifying lap under those circumstances. So driver's side first, bam. Thank gosh for that soft wall again. Did you see that wall move? It flexed, and that takes the blow out of the driver.
See, it looks like he just lost the car.
And in front of you, go low, go low, go low. Come on, come on. You're good, you're good.
Hey, Carl Edwards, Rusty Wallace, ESPN. You got us, buddy?
Got you, Rusty.
Man, you're looking really good. You're 7th right now. How's that car driving out there?
The old Dish Network Fusion's a little bit slow on the short runs, but we're great on the long runs. So having a blast. It's a good race going on here. You know, with these long runs, it's kind of fun to get to do a green flag stop.
Well, we're going to let you get back focused, buddy, but I tell you, it's good looking to watch. I mean, I like it when you're going for this championship and you got a fast car. So have a good one. Stay working on it. We'll talk to you later.
How about it, PK? It's Andy Petre up here. You got a copy?
Andy, I got you.
Hey, we're up here speculating about fuel mileage. Looks like some of these guys could maybe go all the way. How about you guys?
Yeah, we could maybe go all the way.
Okay. Well, you feel pretty confident with it, or are you going to need a few more caution laps?
I think we're pretty good with it. Caution laps won't hurt us, that's for sure. You know, we made some air pressure adjustments on that last run. According to our teammates, it wasn't quite what we needed, so we went back, and I think we're going to have a pretty good race car.
Them 4 guys, have a good race. Good luck.
Sandy.
Pierre Coutel, Carl Edwards, guys that are trying to become champions when this day is over. Carl out of Columbia, Missouri, 28 years of age, made his NASCAR debut while substitute teaching. He's a University of Missouri guy, and two-time NASCAR Rookie of the Year in the trucks in the Busch Series, fourth in the chase for the Cup, trying to become a Busch Series champion when this day is done. Back at Texas Motor Speedway, NASCAR Busch Series action here in Fort Worth, Texas, under caution for the fourth time today. Stanton Barrett, pretty hard impact in his 30 car with the wall. That's what brought out the caution flag. There's Stanton Barrett's Chevrolet. He was having a pretty good run. Now, Rusty was talking about the safer barrier. Watch the impact.
Whoa, look at that. You see how much that wall flex, guys? He hit that driver's side first, and man, that's a dangerous looking scene. But thank gosh for the soft wall. Andy, these things deflect probably over a foot, it looks like.
That's the greatest illustration of how much energy that thing absorbs. When you see that thing move, it's just taking a lot of that energy that the driver would normally absorb in his body and putting it in that wall and that foam. That's a steel. These are steel tubes with foam behind it, and that just absorbs so much of that energy. Great innovation.
Here's a 21 car of Kevin Harvick. We were talking about the fact that the three-time Busch Series winner here has had a handful of race cars. They've been making adjustments all afternoon. To show you what kind of adjustments they make, why don't we head down to our Chevy cutaway car and Tim Brewer.
Thanks, Jerry. Listen to Kevin Harvick on the radio a while ago. If I'm the crew chief, I'm not going to go just simply to the wedge bolt. Hey, that guy's voice was real high. He needs some help. We're going to put a rubber in the left rear spring. That's going to tighten the car up to the center of the corner as well as off the corner, because, hey, good crew chiefs, they listen to those drivers religiously, but when that voice gets real high, they're in deep trouble. Jerry?
Yeah, the great point there, Tim, over the years. And the higher their voice gets, the more concerned they got to be, and the more concerned you should be.
That's right. When he says, hey, I'm loose, I need a little help, you adjust the wedge a little bit. He goes, hey, I'm loose. You do something big.
So the voice used to be, hey, I'm kind of loose. Hey, I'm loose. That's a big difference.
Yeah, they make it
hear that? Do it, dude.
Make that adjustment with the jack bolt. Who was it that invented a jack bolt?
Tiger Tom Pistone is who invented jack bolts.
Tiger Tom. And how much have we used jack bolts over the years? A legendary Tiger Tom Pistone. All right, 61 laps to go, folks. Pulling down on those belts. And we are being told now that Carl Edwards has officially clinched the NASCAR Busch Series title. Congratulations to the Roush Fenway folks and Carl. And, of course, Mom, Nancy Sterling, because we are being told that because of where David Rudiman is running a lap down with the laps left, that Carl, boy, look at he raises the visor there. Oh gosh, how special could that be for him?
You could almost see the smile on his face with the helmet.
And you could see the smile on his face when he raised the visor. When we get a chance under caution, we will hear from inside the car for the first time from Carl Edwards as the 2007 NASCAR Busch Series champion.
What a good feeling. His crew's probably telling him to stand on the throttle now. Let's win this race now.
Chevy pace car is going to pull away. Denny Hamlin, Greg Biffle, Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Jeff Burton, Clint Boyer, and Carl Edwards. That's the top 7 as they come down. And they will get set to go green flag racing here as Hamlin leads him down. Biffle trying to get a good start. Up front, here's the 99 car trying to get back on the lead lap, and he goes down underneath the 16. The 16 has gone by Hamlin for the lead. That's Biffle. Hamlin dropping back a little bit. Here comes the 6 car, one of the lap cars, and the 21 car of Harvick.
Hey, man, that first lap coming off of turn 2, they were 3 wide, and I wouldn't want to be that guy in the center. That's a dangerous position.
David Rudiman got right up behind Denny Hamlin, loosened him up, and actually got underneath him, and that's what opened that whole deal up for Greg Biffle. Not so sure how Denny Hamlin feels about that right now.
Here's David Reagan, the 6 car, a lap down, leading Rebestis Rookie of the Year contender, trying to get back on the lead lap.
And right now, it looks like Reagan's got around David Rudiman, and he's the first guy in line right now for the lucky dog, and these guys are just on it. See him right there, Reagan, Rudiman. That's the race right there, guys. It's the race to get back on the lead lap.
58 laps to go. You heard Dale Jarrett and Brad Daugherty talking about how good that 16 car was and now he is the leader. How about Tony Stewart, guys? He had to go back in the pack and make repairs. He was back in 16th spot when they restarted, and he's trying to move on the inside and pick them off one by one. Whoa! Almost Stewart and Krisaloff too.
And boy, Tony has got to drive hard right now with 57 laps to go to get this thing back up front after the repair, but he had to do it to get the speed back in the car.
Racing all over. Here comes Boyer underneath his teammate, Jeff Burton. This is 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Hamlin, Busch, Burton, and Boyer.
See the teammates side by side right there. Clint Boyer, Jeff Burton in the Richard Childress Chevrolets. And now they're right behind him is Carl Edwards. He knows he's clinched the chase for he's clinched the championship. He can stand on it now.
He doesn't have to be conservative anymore. Now he can just stand on it and go for that win. He doesn't have to worry about anything here.
And as you see, Carl Edwards knowing he's a champion. Let's visit with the championship car owner, Jack Roush, standing by with Jamie Little.
Well, Doc, we just broke the news to Jack, and he pumped his fist. This is his 2nd Busch Series championship, and guess who the first one was with? Our leader, Greg Biffle, right now.
That's really great. You know, I was pumping my fist because Greg Biffle just took the lead. Carl's had a great year in the Busch Grand National Series. PK's done a great job. We certainly made it look closer than it needed to at the end of the schedule here. We were a better race team than we've looked like we have been lately, just because of having crashes and breaking some parts here and there. But this is Carl's first championship. We're sure going to enjoy celebrating with him, and they've all done a great job.
What's the relief right now? What's the feeling? Is it a relief?
Thank you.
It's so loud down here, Doc. I didn't even need to ask the man a question. He knows exactly what we're looking for. Very excited right now for his drivers, plural, as he has 4 of them in the field.
Doesn't get much better than that, Jamie. Thank you very much. One of his cars takes the lead. Another one of his cars wins the championship all in one lap. 54 laps to go. Greg Biffle, the 2002 champion, is the leader here at Texas Motor Speedway.
Edwards, he's the guy to beat.
Carl Edwards takes the victory.
That's awesome. You want to talk about domination?
I'm going to go back from here.
Carl Edwards goes back to back.
Now here comes Edwards. Fights his way to the inside. Edwards has the lead.
You are getting it done.
Carl Edwards will go back to back to back. His 4th win of the season at Nashville Super Speedway. Carl Edwards takes it.
Man, that's awesome, guys. That means the world to me.
And what a season it has been for Carl Edwards, particularly the first 15 weeks. DJ Brad, he built up a lead that was incredible.
He was so dominating the first few weeks. Like you say, first 15 races, just went out, got out of the box, didn't look back, had some struggles in the end, but a tremendous year.
Yeah, let's forget about this bad racing luck that they've had here recently, because they've done such a terrific job all year long. Carl has driven the wheels off of these race cars. Phenomenal is what they were at the beginning of this year. You knew that it couldn't continue like that for the whole year, but they built such a lead that it didn't really matter, and they've done a terrific job in winning this championship.
Memory serves me correctly, he never finished outside the top 10 in a race in the first 10 races of the season, and most of those were top 5s. That's called putting them down early and then just keeping them down. So Carl Edwards locked up the NASCAR Busch Series championship, and just a quick clarification on the math there. Because David Ruderman cannot lead the most laps today, that's why Carl didn't have to finish 36th anymore. He just had to finish 38th or better, and with the guys that are out of the race, he's got that done, Doc.
Yeah, it is all done for Carl Edwards, and what a day for Edwards. What a day for his teammate Greg Biffle, the current leader. Biffle, by the way, the last Ford to win the NASCAR Busch Series title back in 2002. And Biffle has a streak of his own he's trying to hang on to. He's won one Busch race a year, every year since 2001, but he has been shut out thus far in 2007.
Well, look, Carl Edwards, he's going to do the double again next year, guys. He's going to try to win another championship. We're hearing Clint Boyer wants to do the same thing. So there's going to be a lot of airplanes flying all over the country again next year chasing these Busch Series races. Well, nationwide now next year. That's right. Keep forgetting that, guys.
Tony Stewart, for those of you who are Tony Stewart fans, and we saw how dominant Tony was in the first 150 laps, where he led 3 times for 114 laps, had that injury, that issue on the right front headlight cover, had it repaired. He was back in 15th, and now Tony back up to 12th position this car not nearly as good as it was in the early part of the race.
I don't know that it's the traffic or the damage, but he hasn't been nearly as fast as he's been in the early part of the race when he had that track position in the lead. He got back here in this traffic now. He's not able to go anywhere. Kind of surprising me.
Well, right now I'm taking a look down at turn 1 and 2. Andy is getting pretty shaded. The track is probably tightening up. The track conditions are changing, and he had some damage on that right front corner. It looks like they got it a little bit better, but that could be causing his tightness issue he's having right now and not causing the car to go as quick.
Here's a 20 in the 5 car. They are battling for 3rd position. Kyle Busch has it. Denny Hamlin wants it. Kyle Busch, who was one of the early leaders, had the issues on pit road, taking only 2 tires and was sliding back in the pack. Let's check in on both these drivers here in their pits with Shannon Spade.
Well, Doc, I caught up with Denny Hamlin before the race. Both of these drivers are going to be teammates next year. Kyle Busch, of course, will be taking over the number 18 Joe Gibbs Racing car on the Cup side. Both of those drivers tested for Joe Gibbs Racing at Atlanta on Monday. Kyle was in that 18 car. Denny told me that it's already paying off. Both of those drivers really pushed each other during the test. Kyle would go out, lay down a lap. Denny would go out and try to beat it, and it would go on and on. They were on top of the speed charts. Denny said he's really looking forward to next season when he and Kyle Busch will be able to do this week in and week out. Push each other, that is.
That is going to be a formidable team in 2008 when you add Kyle Busch to that team already. You know, with Denny Hamlin, Tony Stewart. I mean, my goodness, you know, how much better can Joe Gibbs Racing get?
It's kind of neat that they push each other to be better, too. And you see them having just a ton of fun out here right here in this Busch race, racing each other. That 5 car is running a real high line, and it seems to have been working for him, but the 20 car's been good on the bottom. And Greg Biffle, you see now why they race so hard at the early laps of this restart to try to get that lead, because this track position and this clean air is worth so much. I mean, now we see Greg Biffle dominate.
Yeah, he's got the big lead right now, but take a look at our lap times, Andy. He's about 0.2 of a second slower than Kevin Harvick, and here comes Harvick right now in the 21 car. He is flying at the moment. In fact, that last time by, fastest car in the racetrack, so Biffle's going to have an eye full here shortly when Harvick catches him, and that's going to happen.
Harvick is the winningest driver this year as well as last year in the NASCAR Busch Series. A 5-time winner. He's also a 3-time winner here at Texas Motor Speedway. Can Greg Biffle hang on and get his first win in 2007? 38 laps to go. Stay with us. We'll find out. Our coverage of the NASCAR Busch Series at Texas is being brought to you by Rebestus, the best in brakes, and by freecreditreport.com. Stay on top of your credit score and credit report at freecreditreport.com. Laps winding down, 32 laps to go. Our nationwide fast cam shows you the cars clicking by, and if you're looking for the guy who was the leader and we thought he was going to sail to his first win in 2007, well, this guy cannot buy a break. A moment ago, the 16 car abruptly slowed. Mike?
And Doc, before this race, Greg Biffle seemed like a prophet. He said this car has been good everywhere it's gone. They just needed some luck. And once again, it appears the luck has abandoned them. A false alarm. Greg Biffle thought he had a right front tire going down. They came in, they changed right side tires. But as you can see, the right front tire still completely inflated, not flat. Another terrible break for Greg Biffle.
If he didn't have any bad luck, he wouldn't have any luck at all. Thought he was cruising to his first win in 2007, and now he is currently a lap behind the leader in 17th position.
And I'll tell you what, that's just a terrible feeling to go through those problems after leading the race and have to give that thing up. And what is this? I mean, just like you said, he just can't buy a break, and he looks like he had this thing wrapped up. But I was a little surprised how quick Harvick was catching him, so it was yet to be seen if he was going to do it or not.
Greg Biffle, 2002 Busch Series champion. Only 4 to win the Busch title in the 26-year history, and now this year he will be joined by teammate Carl Edwards. There's a look at the wins in the last 3 years. Of course, his focus has been primarily on Cup, in fairness to him, as opposed to 2001 to 04, when he primarily was focused on the NASCAR Busch Series. Our new leader, speaking of the Busch Series, the reigning NASCAR Busch champion, Kevin Harvick, who won 9 races a year ago, over $2.8 million in winnings for the Busch Series. He's a 5-time winner this year, 3-time winner at this racetrack, and now trying to get win number 6 if he can hang on the final 29 laps. Dave?
And when people ask him what he did this summer, Doc, he can say, I was winning, because in the summer months, July and August, he raced this race car 6 times for Richard Childress, had 4 wins, his other finishes 2nd and 3rd. It was after that that he started driving his own equipment for a series of races, and this is the first time he'd been back in here, but winning has been the order of the day for the 21 car and 21 crew when Kevin Harvick's behind the wheel.
Man, that's got to be a tough deal on Kevin, because he really wants to drive his own car, and he drives his own car, and he does pretty good. Then he gets back in this car, Richard Childress, and he wins. So he's torn. Should I go for the win, or should I go for develop my own team? But he's got a little bit of each.
Sure is revealing, though, when he gets in this car, how fast it is. And I'm sure he's paying attention. How does Richard Childress Racing do this? And he's going to pattern all of that, what he learns, to his team.
Well, he better be looking under the hood of that thing, all he possibly can, and getting the secrets.
Again, an historic day here for this driver in the NASCAR Busch Series. When the day began, he was 531 points behind, and he had to finish 36th or better. And it is official, folks. Congratulations to Carl Edwards and Roush Fenway Racing and PK, Pierre Cotell. They see him sitting on the pit box right beside Carl's mom, Nancy Sterling. There's Nancy on the far right, PK next to her. Congratulations. What a great effort. What a long road it has been for a young man who dreamed of being a champion when he was a youngster growing up in Missouri. And I just can't imagine the kind of emotion we're going to see from Carl Edwards when he climbs out of this car as the 2007 NASCAR Busch Series champion. Back at Texas Motor Speedway, Fort Worth, Texas, NASCAR Busch Series at Texas. Stop number 33 of 35, and Kevin Harvick trying to win his 6th race in 2007.
Boy, Harvick's got a 3.29 second lead right now over Kyle Busch. And Kevin's just still the faster car, about a 1/10.5 of a second faster, 20 laps to go. It's back in that Richard Childress car, but Kyle Busch can't shake him too much.
Kyle's trying this high line just to see if it'll work. I mean, he wasn't getting anything done on the bottom, so he's trying something. And that's what I love about this guy, man. He will try anything, whatever it takes to make that car go faster, he's going to do it.
Well, you got that right. He's been working that top line a lot throughout the day. In fact, this morning in the NASCAR Next Cup Series practice, he hit the wall. The team did a lot of work in the right side of that car, a lot of damage. He lost a lot of practice because of it.
So it is Harvick, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin 3rd, Boyer, Kenseth in 5th. And how about give a call to the 88, Brad Keselowski. Folks, he had to go all the way to the back of the pack and start shotgun on the field. Driving the car, the Navy Chevrolet, owned by Dale Earnhardt Jr. They had an unapproved lug nuts on the car, made him go to the back, and now he is moving in on the 17 car for 5th position.
And you can really tell that car, the 88 car, Brad Keselowski, getting a lot of help from Hendrick Motorsports right now. Chassis help, shock absorber help. And Andy, next year, Dale Earnhardt Jr. and his team going to share a lot more, I guess.
You can tell how much difference that's made, just these guys in these last few races and getting that help and starting to have that influence from Hendrick Motorsports. I think they're going to be excited about going forward with this deal.
'66 car, 50th start in the NASCAR Busch Series for young Stephen Wallace. And did he have a little contact with the wall with his Dodge just off of 4? Yeah, he nudged it a little bit coming off.
Kisses a little bit right there. Right in front of Carl Edwards, we're being told, but it looks like he's still got clearance on the tires and stuff. Looks like Carl just got loose on the top side of the track.
17 laps to go, and you see young Stephen Wallace and so many talented young drivers moving into the series. We had a big debate, Dale Jarrett, about the fact that we have veterans running that are Cup regulars, so many young drivers coming on board, but these young guys are learning. Who better to learn from than following some of these guys like Denny Hamlin and Clint Boyer on the racetrack?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what this series has always been about. I know when I started with the series in 1982, there were guys like Darrell Waltrip and Dale Earnhardt, Terry Labonte. All of these guys ran a lot of races, and so I was glad to be able to race against these guys to learn to see exactly what it was that made them better. Just aside from their experience, there were things that they were doing on the racetrack, and that's what we have to continue to make this. You know, it's not necessarily as much about the championship, and I certainly know that everyone would want to see Busch regulars win that, but you can't blame these guys. This is a professional series, and they're allowed to go there and race all the time. And I know as a young driver back in the 80s, that's what I was glad to be able to do. We just have to give more of these young guys some more opportunities. I hope these car owners will take note to see what NASCAR really wants from this series and give these guys more opportunities to race out here and be able to learn from these veterans and see what it is that they need to do, the experience that they need on these type of tracks.
Boy, Dale, I couldn't agree with you more. These youngsters need a lot of seat time. They need the chances to get it done and make it happen. And you take a look at a guy like Denny Hamlin right there, just went by in the 20 car. He won a lot of short track races, and it really paid off before he got up in this series, and he's reaped the rewards over it.
Yeah, you know, you can sit and talk to these young guys and try to explain it. And Rusty, I'm sure that you have with your situation, and I did with Jason whenever he was racing, and you can tell them everything that you know about driving a car at these places. But all of that doesn't make any difference until they get out there and experience it themselves.
Dale, are you a little bit surprised about how high these guys are running? You see Kevin Harvick, our leader, running on the bottom of the racetrack, and 20 car Denny Hamlin on the top. It looks like the track's really coming in.
You know, that's what's so great about this racetrack is before the day's over, you have multiple grooves, and we'll see that tomorrow in the race. But, you know, right now they're making both ends of it work, and that's what's great that this racetrack has matured to that point. But I think that the shortest way around, and Kevin Harvick knows that, is always going to be the fastest if you get your car working down there. Now, earlier when his car was really loose, he wasn't able to do that, so he had to kind of search around and keep track of everything until they made those adjustments and made his car better on the bottom, and that's where he wants to run.
Historic day for Carl Edwards. He becomes the new Busch champion. How about an historic day for Kevin Harvick if he picks up his 6th win? Right now he is tied with a guy that Dale Jarrett raced with many, many times in the early years of the Busch Series, the Ironman Jack Ingram. They're equal, 31 wins. Harvick would go by the Ironman, DJ, if he were to win today.
Yeah, I talked about learning lessons from Dale Earnhardt and those guys that were driving in the Cup Series, but I'll assure you that I learned a lot of lessons from Jack Ingram, too. He taught me a lot in a lot of different ways, and really enjoyed the time racing. He was a true champion, a true racer, and I know that Jack still runs some races every once in a while down in Greenville, South Carolina, but he was just a true champion and a guy that I really enjoyed having the opportunity to race with and against, and taught me a lot.
Hey, Dale, I want you to follow me right here. Take a look at Harvick coming off of turn 2. Folks, look out the right side. See all the marks in the wall? Boom! The track falls off right there. And, Dale, is that one of the main areas we got to be concerned with tomorrow?
Yeah, you're exactly right, Rusty. That's one of the toughest places on this racetrack, probably the toughest place, because you're in the banking, you're in the gas coming out of turn 1. We're obviously right now we're coming out of turn 4. You see the marks there, too. Out of both 2 and 4, the track flattens out so quickly, and you're carrying so much speed, you have to make sure that you give yourself enough room. And if your car is lacking just a little bit of grip, you're carrying that speed off of there, and by the time that you realize it, you're into the wall. So we'll see a lot of action off of both corners.
Now, what about the bumps in the middle of turn 1 and 2? Last year I heard they kind of raised the racetrack up with a brand new way of doing that and make it a little smoother. Or is a track smoother down there better for the drivers?
Yeah, it's definitely better for the drivers down in 1 and 2. They did a really good job. You know, they didn't go in and tear up any of the track. They just went in and kind of went underneath. They drilled down in and put something that actually lifted the track back up, and they've made it much better now for our race cars. And I think tomorrow you're going to see even more racing from the bottom, middle, and top grooves than what we're seeing here right now. But they have improved the racetrack down there a lot.
Those are the words of our 2 Cup champions, former Cup champions, Rusty Wallace and Dale Jarrett. Dale Jarrett, by the way, will be in the Cup race here tomorrow. Historic day for the NASCAR Busch Series because this driver, Carl Edwards, in only his 3rd year as a NASCAR Busch competitor, is a champion. Let's listen in now as the laps wind down.
Man, I tell you, when a driver's getting to the end of the race, he knows he's locked up the championship, and now he's starting to feel things and hear things. That generally happens when you're leading the race, though. So, I mean, this is a nervous time for Carl right now. Do you pit? Do you stay out? What do you do?
He's lost a few spots here. There's only 7 laps to go. It's like one of those deals, you know. If I feel something for sure, I'm coming in. But if it's just one of these little things you don't know about, maybe just try to ride it out.
I think it was Buddy Baker years ago that said, at the end of a race when I'm leading, the beating of my heart sounds like the pounding of a bass drum. He said, it's so loud I can hardly stand it. I guess you begin to hear things. Every little noise is amplified.
Oh, you really do, Jerry. I mean, you're focused so much on your driving. You're really paying attention to every line you make on the racetrack, whether it's high or low. And when you hear something that you haven't been hearing all day long or feel something, hey, it wakes you right up. What was that you're thinking?
We saw that 8 car last week at Atlanta lost a wheel because it was loose. I mean, it came completely off. So he's got to be thinking about that. If this thing feels like it's vibrating and has a wheel loose, he's probably going to bring it in. But if it's just a slight one, he'll probably try to run these last 5 laps.
Well, Kevin Harvick's leading this race right now with about a 4-second lead over Kyle Busch. We got 5 laps to go, and he has lapped everybody. We got 14 cars left on the lead lap, and he's flying around this racetrack, guys. So if he pulls it off, he deserved it.
Carl Edwards' domination in the first half of the year. What a season he had to build an impressive lead in the first 15 events. 4 wins, 11 top 5s, 13 top 10s. He built the points lead to over 800 points over some pretty good competition. Included David Rudiman and others. Kevin Harvick has run a limited schedule, and now he is 4 laps away. The young man went to the University of Missouri, was a substitute teacher, walking around on weekends handing out business cards saying, give me a ride, give me a chance. He finally got a chance with Jack Roush and now Roush Fenway Racing, and it's going to pay off with his first NASCAR title.
How about Tony Raines in this 33 car, man? He's on the move, running in the top 10, and he's going for more. Trying to get by this 29 car. Jeff Burton running 8.
Now, this is the car that Kevin Harvick, who's leading the race right now, generally drives. This is his own car, and he's got to be loving this, how good Tony Raines is doing in his car. The car is getting better and better every single week out of Kevin Harvick Incorporated, and this is another standalone Busch team with no help from NASCAR Nextel Cup teams to speak of, except Richard Childress a little bit, but he doesn't give them everything.
29 car, by the way, Jeff Burton. You'll see him in one of the 17 drivers running today. You'll also see in the NASCAR Nextel Cup event as our live coverage comes your way at 3 o'clock Eastern time here on Sunday.
2 to go.
Kevin Harvick, reigning NASCAR Busch champion, ran a limited schedule, comes down for the white flag. Kevin Harvick would pick up his 6th win of the year and become the 2nd all-time winningest driver in NASCAR Busch Series history with 32 career wins. But how about the day? The day really has to belong to one Carl Edwards. Edwards, 3 years ago, began in the NASCAR Busch Series, wanted to be a champion. He knew it could happen today. Edwards officially declared as a 2007 Busch champion.
I appreciate all the hard work. Hopefully this wheel stays on until we get back. Yeah, let's finish it up here. Calm. It's about 5 back to the 38 here. He won't catch you. That's it, champ. Come on. All right, guys. Good job.
Got last year's champion on the left and this year's champion on the right. The race winner of Kevin Harvick, and he officially passes the torch to Carl Edwards, who becomes the 2007 Busch Series champion.
That's just amazing. Kevin Harvick, our last year winner, wins the race. And Edwards, that was a long time coming. He had so many things go good at the beginning of the year and so many things go bad at the end of the year, and he wraps it up.
Pierre Coutel getting a congratulatory handshake from car owner Jack Roush. Kevin Harvick in the Richard Childress racing car.
Good job, guys. Good job.
Carl Edwards now coasting down, trying to get unhooked. How long has he waited for this moment? How long has Pierre Coutel waited, Jamie Little?
Well, he sure has waited a long time. His first ever championship as crew chief. Pierre, how would you sum up the journey with you and Carl to get to this point and become champions?
It's been a ride I've really enjoyed. I mean, Carl's a fantastic race car driver, so I'm just glad to be part of this whole deal.
What are you guys going to do now to celebrate?
I think we got to go tear down first. They're going to dismantle the entire race car. But from there, we'll pat some backs and have some fun. So,
how about your boss? What did he just say to you?
He was a little disappointed that 16 car had some problems on the right front. He had a strong car. I thought he was going to make it there. We had piggybacked on some of their air pressures for that middle run. Thought we'd slowed up, so we wanted to go back to where we were, and we just missed it on this last run.
Business as usual. 2 more races to go. Go celebrate, will you?
Thanks.
Doc.
Pierre Cattell, you should indeed smile. Great effort by your entire Roush Fenway crew, and now the crew comes over and gives Carl a handshake. You heard them before the race began. They were pumping each other up. You saw the team huddle when they were saying this could be our day. Carl Edwards thanking the team before the race even began as they were on the pace lap. And now it has all come to fruition as they are the 2007 champion. Let's go down to Mike, who's caught up with Kyle Busch, our second place finisher.
And Doc, another outstanding run for Kyle Busch. Brings it home second. How would you assess the afternoon?
I don't know, pretty disappointing, I guess, come home second, but you know, you got to thank the Delphi guys, all these guys that stick in hard and work on this thing, and you know, make sure we come to the racetrack prepared and with a good enough piece in order to run up front like that. But you know, I think that's 4 second-place finishes this year, if I'm not mistaken, and you know, it's kind of pathetic.
How was the car in general?
I mean, it was tight all day, really. We just kept trying to fight that a little bit. We were battling tight center, tight off in the beginning, and then the more you'd go, the tighter it would get. So you kind of moved to the top, and then it would get tight up there. It would be able to come back down to the bottom and be all right. So just overall, you know, we fell back through that one run because we screwed up on air pressure a little bit, and you know, we were able to get that back, and then just didn't have enough for Harvick there. He got out in clean air before us and took off.
And Doc, you can't blame Kyle Busch. Back in the spring, he led 113 laps here and didn't come away with a victory, and came up just a position short this afternoon.
Finishes second here at Texas, and the guy he's chasing now, Kevin Harvick, the 2006 Busch champion, getting ready to climb out down in victory lane. Dave Burns.
There it is, Doc. A little delayed reaction. His crew was waiting for him so they could hit him with plenty of beverage when he climbed out of that 21 car, which has been unbelievable in your hands, sir. Another win, 5 in the last 7 starts.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun to drive this AutoZone Chevrolet just over the past few years. Really, ever since we started the Busch program at RCR, it's just been a winning program, and this place has been really good to us. So we've been fortunate to run really well here, and there in the middle part of the race, we weren't as good as we thought we needed to be, and Shane and the guys did a great job adjusting the car to make it what it did. And there at the end, and we were able to get around those guys on the restart and make it happen.
And it's Shane's birthday. Did you know that, and know he needed to win?
Well, it's pretty cool that we can win on Shane's birthday and give him a birthday present. So it's nice to come back together with all these guys for the next couple weeks and see if we can't win a couple more.
And I know you know, but it's 32 wins, Kevin. You passed Jack Ingram.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That's pretty awesome. I mean, just to be up there with Jack Ingram and Mark Martin and all the guys that made the Busch Series what it is pretty special. So I really enjoy running this series, and I always enjoy winning. So just want to thank all the guys at RCR.
Sounds like he'll be back, Doc.
I think Kevin Harvick makes this Busch Series pretty special as well. He was a great champion in 2006. Let's take a look at our Crown Royal crowning moment. And indeed, it comes down as we crown a champion for 2007. Carl Edwards crossing the finish line, and let the celebrations begin down there among his crew in Roush Fenway pits. Let's go down and visit with our new champion.
And Don Tabor from Anheuser-Busch here to present the trophy to Carl Edwards and Pierre Cattell, his crew chief. Carl, we know it's been a long time coming. You started out 2003 business cards, and you handed one to Jack Roush. Sum up this journey to get to this point. I asked Pierre the same question. To get to this point as a champion, how did you do it?
Wow, first of all, congratulations to Kevin Harvick for winning the race. They did a great job. I just got to thank my guys, PK, my sponsors, Dish, Scott's, World Financial Group, Coca-Cola, Office Depot, Discount Tires, so many great sponsors, and just really got to thank everybody that helped me out. I mean, all the guys, Timmy Cahuth and Howard Hall and Dwight Laxton and everybody who let me drive the race cars. It's really amazing to be the Busch Series champion. I just can't tell you how excited I am and how much it means to me and how far I've come because of those people. I appreciate it.
Carl, look behind you. You're now a champion. How long have you thought about this moment?
That's amazing. My buddy Darren Beach, he's here. We won a championship together in Holt Summit, Missouri at the Capital Speedway in the Modifieds, and we won a Baby Grand Championship, and now we've won a Busch Grand National Championship. So just an unbelievable amount of help from people and just a great feeling.
Well, your mom's here, your best friends, everybody's here. Carl Edwards, guys, the 2007 Busch Series Championship. Let's go to Shannon.
Third today. Just finished talking with Dave Rogers. You had the lead for a while. What happened, Denny?
We tried to get down on the bottom there on the restart, and the 99 was, he
maybe was there by just a little bit, but I figured we were a lead lap car. Anyway, he got in the back of us and shot us up the racetrack, and some guys were able to get around us. So, and track position meant so much. I mean, we were running half a second faster out front than we were with just one car in front of us. So, I knew as soon as we gave us the lead, it was going to be tough to get it back.
Now, though, Denny is still, he asked me about the owner championship, so still a little battle going in there for the owner championship. Mike?
And quite a battle for the Nextel Cup Series championship. We talked about it at the top of the show, how this race could have additional importance for those guys still challenging for the Nextel Cup. Clint Boyer is one of those guys. What can you take from today that might help you on Sunday?
Well, air pressures, what the car does, how it reacts on my end, how it reacts to wedge, track bar, things like that, things that you can adjust during the race. So, it was definitely a learning day. Outside didn't quite come in quite as good as I thought it would. I think it'll open up tomorrow, but starting as deep as we are, we gotta make something happen.
Clint Boyer starts 29th on Sunday, but he brings it home 4th this afternoon. Alan?
Michael, thank you. So Kevin Harvick wins the race today, but Carl Edwards wins the NASCAR Busch Series championship.
Congratulations to Carl Edwards. He's had an outstanding year. He and Pierre Cattell, along with Jack Roush and that group, did a wonderful job.
Yeah, did a terrific job all year long, and Kevin Harvick a great job today.
And, of course, this is just the first of our racing doubleheader from Texas this weekend. Tomorrow, the chase for the Nextel Cup continues from here in Texas. Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, 3 o'clock Eastern Time, ABC. Be with us. 9 points between them. It's going to be fabulous. So Kevin Harvick with a .500 batting average for Richard Childress Racing this year. 6 wins in 12 starts in that 21 car. And he's the only driver ever to win this November race here in Texas.